Life in Haiti. Beautiful women, extreme poverty, and raw island survival. What if I told you there's a country just a short flight from the United States, where the women are stunning, the land is wild and beautiful, but every single day is a fight to survive? A place where sunshine touches every corner, yet half the children go to bed hungry. This is Haiti, and no, it's not what you've seen in headlines. It's far more complicated, more heartbreaking, and strangely, more inspiring. I came here looking for answers. What I found shook me. From the streets to the slums, the beaches to the broken homes, I saw beauty, pain, laughter, and fear, sometimes all in the same moment. And what happened on my second night here, I still think about it, every single day. When people hear the name Haiti, they often imagine disaster, poverty, and pain. That's what I thought too, until I actually went there. And what I found was something completely different. Yes, the poverty is real. Yes, there's struggle in almost every corner. But there's also beauty. There's strength. There's music, color, and energy in places that most people would never dare to go. I didn't go to Haiti to make a travel vlog or to show off tourist spots. I went because I wanted to feel what real survival looks like. Not survival in theory, but in everyday life, where you wake up unsure if you'll eat, if your kids will be safe, or if your home will still be standing when the next storm comes. So, here's what you can expect in this video. You'll meet people who are strong beyond words. You'll meet women who carry heavy loads on their heads and still smile like nothing is wrong. You'll see kids who haven't eaten all day but still laugh and dance in the street like they don't have a single care. You'll hear stories from people who have every reason to give up, but somehow they don't. They just keep going. And you'll see me try to live like them, even if only for a short while. I decided not to stay in a hotel. I didn't want to watch this country from a comfortable window. I wanted to walk its streets. I wanted to ride on the broken tap-taps, eat food from roadside stalls, drink water from a plastic bag, and sleep where the locals sleep. I didn't go there as a tourist. I went as a student, and Haiti had a lot to teach me. One thing I learned quickly is that beauty in Haiti is everywhere, but it's not always what you expect. People talk about Haitian women like they're models, and yes, many of them are absolutely stunning, but that's not the beauty I'm talking about. I'm talking about the kind of beauty that comes from resilience, from waking up before sunrise, walking miles for work or school, and still making time to braid your hair, wear a bright-colored dress, and look your best, even when the world outside feels like it's falling apart. That kind of pride, that kind of confidence, it hits different. But this video isn't just about beauty. It's also about the things that hurt. It's about hunger. It's about fear. It is about walking past a child who's clearly sick and knowing there's no doctor coming. It's about asking someone how often they eat and hearing them say, maybe once today, maybe not. It's about realizing that the things you complain about at home, slow internet, late food delivery, canceled flights, mean absolutely nothing here. Because here the problems are raw, they are painful, and they are real. I'll take you through narrow alleyways where families of 6 sleep in one small room. I'll show you a school that has no electricity but is still full of children eager to learn. I'll introduce you to a teenage boy who sells candy on the street, not to buy a phone or shoes, but to feed his little sister. And yes, I'll take you with me when I try to survive on just $5 in a neighborhood where most people don't even have that. There's a moment coming later in this video where everything changed for me. It wasn't dramatic or loud. It was a small conversation with a young girl. She couldn't have been older than 10. What she said was so simple, but so powerful, that it stayed in my mind for weeks. I'll tell you exactly what she said, but not yet. That moment deserves its own space later. I also want you to understand that this isn't some dark, sad story from start to finish. Yes, there's pain, but there's also joy. There's music. There are families laughing, people dancing, and even strangers helping strangers with no questions asked. Haiti is full of contradictions. One minute, you feel heartbroken. The next, you're laughing so hard it hurts. That emotional roller coaster, that's real life here. So stick with me. Don't skip ahead. If you think you already know what this video is going to show, you probably don't. I thought I knew Haiti too, but I was wrong. What you're about to see may change how you think about poverty. It may even change how you think about your own life. And at the very least, it will introduce you to some of the bravest people I've ever met. This isn't a video you just watch. It's a video you feel, from start to end. Haiti is one of those places that's really close to the United States, but somehow feels like it's a world away. It's located in the Caribbean, sharing the island of Hispaniola with the Dominican Republic. If you look on a map, you'll see it just a short distance from places like Cuba, Jamaica, and Florida. But despite being in a beautiful location surrounded by blue waters and sunshine, Haiti has a very different story from its neighbors. The country has around 11.5 million people, and most of them speak Haitian Creole. Some speak French, especially in schools or formal settings, but Creole is what you'll hear on the streets, in markets, and in everyday conversations. It's a mix of French and African languages that developed over time, and it's full of rhythm and emotion. Even if you don't understand every word, you'll feel the meaning through tone, body language, and the energy people put into their words. Haiti isn't just a random island with problems. It's actually the first black-led republic in the world. Back in 1804, the people of Haiti fought off French colonizers and became independent. It was one of the most powerful slave uprisings in history. Think about that for a moment. People who were once enslaved fought and won their freedom, creating their own country. That kind of history should be taught everywhere, but most people don't know it. Now, here's where things get more complicated. Even though Haiti won its independence over 200 years ago, life has never been easy. The country has faced disaster after disaster, both natural and political. Earthquakes, hurricanes, floods, you name it, they've had it. And on top of that, there's been a lot of political instability, poor leadership, and corruption over the years. All of that has taken a toll. But when you first land in Haiti, none of that hits you right away. What hits you is the view. Green hills, tall palm trees, bright flowers. It looks like the kind of place people pay money to vacation in. And in some areas, especially by the beaches, it actually feels peaceful. But just behind that beauty, there's another side. You'll start to notice it as you go deeper. Houses made of tin and wood, roads full of potholes, children walking barefoot, people selling whatever they can on the streets just to get by. Here's something that will put it into perspective. The average income per person in Haiti is around 1,400 US dollars a year. Now compare that to the United States, where the average income is around $76,000 per year. That means someone in the US earns more in a single week than many Haitians do in an entire year. Think about that. How would your life change if you only had that much to survive on? Another big difference is in access to basic needs. In the US or Europe, most people don't worry about clean water or electricity. They expect it. In Haiti, that's not always the case. Many areas don't have running water, and if they do, it might not be safe to drink. Electricity comes and goes. Some families only get power for a few hours a day, and some don't get it at all. When I was there, I had to charge my phone during short windows when the power was on. Otherwise, I'd just have to wait. Education is also a struggle. While there are schools, many children can't afford to go, especially if their parents can't pay for books, uniforms, or fees. Even when kids do go to school, the buildings might not have desks, chairs, or even walls in some cases. And yet, you'll still see kids showing up every day, wearing whatever uniform they can find, sitting on broken benches, ready to learn. That kind of hunger for knowledge really says a lot. Now, let's talk about health. Access to healthcare is limited. Hospitals exist, but they're often overcrowded, underfunded, and short on staff. Medicines are expensive, and many people rely on home remedies or hope for the best. I met people who walked hours just to reach a small clinic that might not even have what they need. One mother told me she had to choose between buying medicine for her child or feeding her family for the week. No parent should ever have to make that kind of decision. With all these challenges, you might think the mood in Haiti would be dark all the time. But surprisingly, it's not. People joke, sing, and smile. Music plays on nearly every street. It's like the people refuse to let the hardships steal their spirit. There's a sense of pride in just pushing through, in waking up every day and trying again, no matter how bad yesterday was. This contrast between natural beauty and economic poverty is one of the most confusing things to process when you're there. You'll see a stunning view of the ocean, and just a few steps away, a child digging through trash for something to eat. You'll hear laughter from a group of teens who have no shoes but are playing soccer with a handmade ball. It's beauty and pain living side by side. So here's the question. How can a country so full of potential still be struggling so much? How can a place that once made history as a symbol of freedom now be known for crisis? Is it the world turning its back? Is it internal problems? Or is it something more complicated? Whatever the reason, one thing is clear. Haiti is more than its problems. It's a country of real people, rich culture, deep history, and unshakable spirit. If we stop only seeing it through the lens of headlines and statistics, we might start to understand what makes it truly special. Haitian women. Beauty beyond the surface. When people talk about Haitian women, the first thing they often mention is their beauty. And yes, they are beautiful. You'll notice it right away. Smooth skin, sharp eyes, natural hair styled with care, and colorful clothes that somehow always look fresh, even on dusty streets and in the hot sun. But if you stop there, you're missing the real story. Because in Haiti, beauty isn't just about appearance. It's about strength. It's about surviving every day with pride, no matter how hard things get. And that kind of beauty runs much deeper than what you see on the outside. I met a young woman named Nadege, who really helped me understand this. She was only 19, but carried herself like someone twice her age. Her eyes were serious, but when she smiled, it was warm, genuine. She lived in a small village outside the city and helped her mother sell fruits at the local market. Every morning, she would wake up before sunrise, help pack the baskets, carry them on her head for over a mile, and then spend the day standing in the sun trying to earn just enough to cover food for the day. After the market, she'd walk another 3 miles to attend night classes, because she still hadn't finished school. Her dream was to become a nurse one day and open a small clinic for her village. I remember offering to carry one of her baskets. It looked heavy, and I thought I was being helpful. She laughed and said, "You won't last 5 minutes." I insisted, so she handed it to me. And she was right. I barely made it 10 steps before I had to put it down. She just shook her head and smiled, lifted it back up on her head like it weighed nothing, and kept walking. That moment was funny, but also humbling. Here was someone doing something physically hard every day and making it look effortless. And she did it without complaint. Nadege wasn't wearing expensive clothes or makeup. She didn't have fancy shoes. But the way she held herself, the way she spoke with respect and purpose, it was clear she had something more powerful than style. She had dignity. She had goals. Even if the world around her seemed to be falling apart, she was still standing tall. And Nadege is not alone. Across Haiti, you'll see women just like her. They are mothers, daughters, workers, students, doing everything they can to keep things going. Some run small businesses out of nothing but a wooden table and a few goods. Others walk long distances just to fetch water or care for younger siblings while their parents try to earn money. Many of them are the backbone of their homes, their communities, and in some cases, the only stable presence in a child's life. It's easy for outsiders to look at this and only feel sad. But when you're there, you feel something else. You feel respect. Because despite all the challenges, these women are not giving up. They still find ways to laugh, to dress well, to look after themselves and each other. I saw one woman sweeping the front of her tin house with a broom made of sticks, singing loudly to herself while her kids played nearby. Her home had no walls on one side, but she still kept it clean. She still made sure her children had clean clothes and a cooked meal. That takes real strength. In many countries, we link beauty with wealth. Good clothes, makeup, polished looks. In Haiti, beauty is raw. It comes from effort, from taking care of your space and your people even when you have very little. It's not about being perfect. It's about not giving up. One woman told me something I'll never forget. I asked her how she manages to stay so put together when life is so hard. She looked me in the eyes and said, "Because if I don't take care of myself, who will? I don't have much, but I still have pride. Poverty doesn't mean I lose my respect." That sentence hit me hard. Poverty doesn't mean I lose my respect. It made me realize how quick we are to connect poverty with shame. But in Haiti, people carry their dignity like a badge. You'll rarely see someone begging. Most people want to earn what they get, even if it's just a few coins. And the women, especially, push through silently, with strength that's hard to explain unless you see it yourself. I also saw how the culture supports this. In Haiti, people value appearance, even if they're poor. You'll see women ironing their clothes, combing their children's hair, putting on earrings, even if they're living in a shelter with barely any walls. They don't do it to impress anyone. They do it because it's part of who they are. It's a way to say, "I'm still standing. I'm still here." Of course, the challenges are real. There's gender-based violence, lack of access to health care, low job opportunities for women, and many cultural pressures. Some women are raising children alone after their partners left. Some work long hours and still don't have enough for food. Some have dreams but no support. These issues need to be talked about, and they need real solutions. But it's also important to see the full picture, not just the pain, but the power. That's what I saw in Nadege and so many others. Power. Not the kind that makes headlines, not the kind with microphones or speeches, but the quiet kind, the steady kind, the kind that wakes up every day and keeps going, no matter what. By the end of my time there, I looked at beauty very differently. It wasn't about who had the best skin or the nicest clothes. It was about presence, energy, how someone carried themselves, even when the odds were stacked against them. That's what Haitian women have. A kind of grace that comes from experience, not luxury. A kind of beauty that can't be bought, only built. So if you ever hear someone talk about how beautiful Haitian women are, now you know. Yes, they are. But it's not just about what you see. It's about what they've lived through, what they keep surviving, and the way they still manage to smile, laugh, and shine, even when life gives them every reason to do the opposite. Street food, hunger, and hustle. One of the first things you notice when walking through the streets of Haiti is the smell of food. It's everywhere: smoky grilled meat, spicy pickled vegetables, and fried snacks sizzling in big metal pots. Street food is a big part of life here. People don't always eat at home. Many grab their meals from vendors who set up on street corners, near schools, bus stops, or markets. The food is hot, fresh, and full of flavor. Even with very little, Haitians know how to cook food that fills your stomach and warms your heart. I remember trying a dish called griot. It's made with chunks of pork that are marinated in citrus juice, then fried until crispy on the outside and tender inside. It's usually served with rice and beans or fried plantains, along with something called pickles. Pickles is a spicy pickled cabbage mix that gives a kick to every bite. It's crunchy, sour, and hot all at once. I didn't expect much from a paper plate of street food, but honestly, it was one of the best meals I've ever had, and the whole thing cost less than $1. But while the food itself is amazing, the truth behind it isn't always as joyful. That same plate of food that I was lucky to enjoy is out of reach for many people living here. In Haiti, food insecurity is a serious problem. Many families can only afford to eat once a day. Some go without meals completely. It's not that they don't want to eat, it's that they simply don't have the money. That reality hit me hard when I met a young boy named Jean. He was about 10 years old, with a calm face and quiet eyes. I saw him carrying a bucket full of small plastic bags filled with cold water. He walked up and down the street all day, selling them for a few cents each. I stopped and bought one, and we started talking. Jean told me he sells water every day after school, or instead of school if his parents can't pay the fees. His goal is simple: sell enough bags to buy one plate of food by the evening. I asked him what his favorite food was. He smiled and said, "Any food I can eat 2 days in a row." That answer stuck with me. For most of us, food is a choice. We pick what we feel like eating. For Jean, food is a reward. It's not about taste, it's about survival. Later that evening, I watched as Jean finally got his plate. He chose rice and beans with a small piece of fried fish. He ate slowly, savoring every bite like it was the best thing in the world. And maybe it was, for him. Watching that moment, I couldn't stop thinking. Just hours ago, I had that amazing griot meal, thinking how lucky I was to find great street food. And here was Jean, feeling just as lucky to eat it all. That's the kind of contrast you face in Haiti every single day. Street vendors, despite their own struggles, are often part of the reason people like Jean can eat. These vendors are usually women, cooking under makeshift tents or umbrellas using charcoal stoves. Some carry their food in big pots on their heads, setting up shop wherever they can find people. They don't have fancy tools or big kitchens, but they make food that's packed with flavor. Even better, they make it affordable, because they know their customers are struggling too. What really impressed me was how much heart goes into this food. The spices are strong, the colors are bold, and the portions, while small, are made with care. I once had a fried bread called marinade, and it reminded me of something between a donut and a fritter. Crispy outside, soft inside, and lightly salted. Perfect for a snack. Another time I had lambi, which is conch meat, cooked with garlic and onions. It was chewy and rich, something I didn't expect from a street stall. These meals might be humble, but they carry the full flavor of the culture. Still, behind all this vibrant food culture is a hard truth. Around 4.9 million people in Haiti, almost half the population, face food insecurity. That means they don't know when or if their next meal is coming. For children, it's even worse. Many suffer from malnutrition, and without enough protein or vitamins, they struggle to grow and stay healthy. Hunger in Haiti isn't just about missing a meal. It is about the long-term effects on the body and mind. And yet, people don't stop trying. Vendors still set up every day, hoping to sell enough to feed their own families. Children like Jean still walk the streets, hoping to trade effort for food. It's a daily hustle, with no breaks, no vacations, and no guarantees. There's a kind of quiet bravery in that, because even when the hunger is real, people still show up. They still cook, they still serve, they still find ways to make food that brings joy, even if it's just for a few minutes. One woman told me, "We don't have much, but if I can make you smile with my food, then I've done my part." That simple sentence says everything. I started thinking about how many meals we waste, how often we throw away leftovers or complain about not liking what's on the menu. Meanwhile, someone in Haiti is working an entire day just for one hot meal. That changes your perspective. It makes you more grateful. It also makes you more aware. So when I say I had the best meal of my life in Haiti, I don't just mean because it tasted good. I mean because it opened my eyes. It made me realize how much food means when you've had to fight for it. And how, in a place where hunger is common, the act of cooking and sharing food becomes something powerful. It's not just about filling your stomach. It's about keeping hope alive, one plate at a time. Jean's story reminded me that even the smallest effort, selling water, carrying heavy buckets, standing in the heat, can mean the difference between hunger and a full belly. And the women behind the street stalls with their sharp skills and soft hearts are keeping that system going every single day. So next time you hear someone talk about Haitian street food, don't just think about taste. Think about the people behind it. The kids like Jean, the women cooking over charcoal fires, the hands that made that meal possible. Because that's what gives the food its real flavor: hard work, love, and the constant fight to survive. Myths versus reality. Voodoo, faith, and fear. When people hear the word voodoo, they usually think of something scary. Maybe black magic, curses, or dolls with pins in them. Movies and TV shows have made it seem dark and evil. But in Haiti, voodoo is something very different. It's not about hurting people or doing strange tricks. It's a real religion that has been part of Haitian culture for hundreds of years. For many people here, voodoo is not something to be feared. It's something to live by. Voodoo in Haiti is actually a mix of different beliefs. When African slaves were brought to the island many years ago, they brought their own spiritual practices with them. But they were forced to follow Christianity, especially Catholicism. Over time, these two systems blended together. So today, you'll find people who go to church on Sunday and take part in voodoo ceremonies the same week. For them, both are ways to talk to God, to ask for help, and to stay connected with their ancestors. Around 60% of Haitians identify as Catholic, but about half of the population also practices voodoo in some form. That doesn't mean people are doing two completely different things. In many homes, you'll see Christian crosses next to voodoo symbols. People might pray to saints and also to spirits called El Wa. These spirits are not demons. They are seen as guides or helpers who connect people to the divine. I didn't understand all of this at first. Like many outsiders, I was nervous when I first heard about voodoo. I thought it was something dark, maybe even dangerous. But that changed when I was invited to witness a voodoo ceremony in a small village. I didn't know what to expect. I was honestly a bit scared. I'd seen too many movies showing voodoo as something full of fire, blood, and fear. But what I saw that day surprised me. The ceremony took place in a yard with a few candles and some simple decorations. People were singing, clapping, and moving to the beat of drums. It didn't feel evil. It felt alive. The mood wasn't angry or strange, it was peaceful. Some people closed their eyes and swayed. Others whispered prayers. There was dancing, but it wasn't wild or out of control. It was focused and respectful. At one point, an older woman poured a bit of rum on the ground as an offering and said a prayer for someone who had passed away. Later, I was told that this was a way to ask for blessings and protection. The spirits they were calling weren't there to harm anyone. They were there to help people heal, make decisions, and find strength during hard times. One moment during the ceremony really stayed with me. A young girl began to cry, not out of fear but out of emotion. She was holding a photo of someone she had lost. A woman beside her hugged her and whispered prayers. No one mocked her. No one rushed her. The whole group just kept singing softly while she cried. That moment taught me something important. This wasn't a horror movie. This was real. It was spiritual. And it was full of love. After the ceremony, I spoke to one of the leaders, an older man with gentle eyes. I asked him what voodoo meant to him. He said, "It is how we speak to the spirits of our past and how we ask for strength in our present. It is not evil, it is survival." That sentence really made me think. So many people outside of Haiti fear voodoo because they don't understand it. But here it's a way of life. It helps people deal with pain, sickness, loss, and fear. In a country where many people don't have access to doctors or therapy, faith, whether through Christianity, voodoo, or both, is the medicine of the soul. Of course, there are still people in Haiti who don't believe in voodoo. Some are fully Christian and think it's wrong. Others worry about how it looks to the rest of the world. And yes, just like with any belief system, there are people who use it in the wrong way. But those are the few. not the many. Most voodoo followers are peaceful, kind, and just trying to connect with something greater than themselves. The more time I spent in Haiti, the more I realized how important faith is in daily life. When there's not much food on the table, people still pray. When a storm hits and homes are damaged, people gather to sing. When someone falls sick, the community lights candles and prays for healing. Whether it's in a church, at a voodoo altar, or both, Haitians lean on faith not because it's tradition, but because it helps them keep going. And here's something that really challenged my thinking. For many people in Haiti, voodoo and Christianity don't cancel each other out. They work together. They fill different emotional and spiritual needs. And that's something we often don't understand from the outside. So the next time you hear the word voodoo, I hope you remember this. It's not about fear. It's about faith. It's not about magic. It's about meaning. It's one of the ways Haitians stay strong, stay hopeful, and stay connected to their history. It may look different from what you know, but it deserves respect, not judgment. In a place where life can be so hard, people hold on to whatever brings them comfort. And for many in Haiti, voodoo is exactly that. It's not perfect, but then again, no belief system is. What matters is how it helps people survive. And in Haiti, it's part of what keeps the spirit of the people alive. Survival in the mountains and slums. I wanted to truly understand how people in Haiti survive each day, so I made a simple plan. I would spend 48 hours living with only $5 in my pocket. No help, no special treatment, no camera crew, just me, the streets, and the same daily struggles many Haitians face. It felt like the only real way to learn what life is like when money is nearly nothing. The first thing I noticed was how quickly $5 felt small. In places like the US, $5 might get you a cup of coffee. In Haiti, it could be your budget for 2 whole days. Food, water, everything. I knew right away that I had to be smart about how I spent it. I asked a local man where I could find cheap food. He pointed me to a woman selling rice and sauce from a small metal pot under a faded umbrella. I paid about 75 cents for a small portion of rice with some bean sauce. There was no meat, but the flavor was strong, and it filled me up for the moment. Water was another problem. Bottled water was too expensive, so I had to buy it in small plastic pouches that people sell for just a few cents. It's not the cleanest option, but it's what most people can afford. I drank it carefully, hoping it wouldn't make me sick. Staying hydrated was a real concern, especially with the heat. Finding a place to sleep was even harder. I didn't want to take space from anyone who actually lived there, and I definitely couldn't afford a room. So I asked a vendor if I could stay near her stall for the night. She was kind and said yes. She even gave me a small piece of cardboard to lie on. It wasn't comfortable, but I was grateful. I used my backpack as a pillow and tried to sleep while the sounds of the city kept going. Motorbikes, dogs barking, people talking late into the night. There was no toilet nearby. I had to walk to a shared outhouse which was old and didn't smell great. But again, I was thankful it even existed. Many people have to go in the open because public restrooms are rare in some neighborhoods. Washing up was also difficult. I used a small bucket of water that someone let me borrow, splashed my face and hands, and brushed my teeth using water from a pouch. That was it. No showers, no mirrors, no privacy. The people I met during those 2 days were incredibly kind. One man offered me a piece of fried plantain when he saw I looked hungry. A woman with 3 children gave me a smile and asked if I had eaten. She didn't have much herself, but she still showed concern for a stranger. These small moments of care hit me hard. They made me realize that generosity here is OT about having extra. You about sharing what little you do have. On the second day, I ran out of money. I had just enough to buy one last meal, another plate of rice and a piece of fried dough. After that, I had nothing. I sat under some shade, feeling tired and unsure of what to do next. A boy named Louis sat next to me and asked why I looked so down. I told him I had no more money, and he said something that surprised me. "It's okay. Most days I don't have money either. You get used to it." That sentence made me stop. You get used to it. That's what life is like for many people here. They've accepted the daily struggle. They don't expect comfort. They just find ways to keep moving. Louis said he collects scrap metal and sells it. Some days he earns $1, some days nothing. But he always tries. He said, "If you wait for someone to help, you'll wait forever." At that point, I realized how strong the people here are. They're not sitting around feeling sorry for themselves. They're working hard, even if the pay is low or inconsistent. They find ways to survive in conditions that many of us wouldn't last a day in. And they do it with pride. Sleeping outside was tough. The ground was hard, the air was hot, and the mosquitoes didn't care that I was tired. But I reminded myself, this is normal for many. I was just visiting this life. They live it every day. By the end of the 48 hours, I was physically and emotionally exhausted. I was hungry, sweaty, and uncomfortable. But more than that, I felt changed. I had a tiny glimpse into a life I couldn't fully understand. Just 2 days, and I felt drained. But people here do this every single day, without choice. And that is when the real lesson hit me. Survival in Haiti isn't just about food or water. It's about mindset. It's about being tough even when everything around you is falling apart. It's about helping others even when you're struggling too. It's about waking up to the same problems every morning, but still choosing to face them. There's something powerful in that. It's a quiet strength that you don't notice at first, but once you see it, you never forget it. And even though I went through this challenge by choice, I came out of it with something I didn't expect: respect. Not just for the people, but for the way they live with courage day after day. And as for how I made it through those 2 days, that answer isn't about me. It's about the people who helped me, the ones who offered a spot to rest, a sip of water, or a kind word. Without them, I don't know if I would have made it. That's the real secret to survival here. It's not done alone. It's done together. So when people ask me what I learned from those 48 hours, I say this: I learned that $5 doesn't go far, but kindness does. And in Haiti, that's the real currency that keeps people going. What they don't show you on the news. Whenever Haiti is mentioned in the news, the same things usually come up: earthquakes, political problems, gang violence, and poverty. It's almost always bad. You hear about broken systems, suffering people, and stories that paint the country as a hopeless place. And while those things are real and serious, they are only one part of the story. The truth is, what the news doesn't show you is the side of Haiti that's full of everyday life. Small joys, quiet strength, and moments that don't make headlines but truly matter. During my visit, I saw a very different side of Haiti than what I had expected from media reports. I saw kids walking to school in clean uniforms, even if their classrooms didn't have enough chairs. I saw shopkeepers opening their stalls each morning with smiles, even if they didn't make much money the day before. I saw families gathering outside in the evenings to share food, stories, and laughter. Yes, the country has serious problems, but it also has people who are still trying, still hoping, and still moving forward. One day, I visited a small organization that helps children from low-income families. It's run by a few volunteers who give lessons, provide meals, and try to keep the kids safe and off the streets. One of the workers there, a man named Joseph, said something that stuck with me. He told me, "People think Haitians are lazy or waiting for help, but they don't see what we do every day just to survive. Most of us are working harder than people can imagine, but the system keeps pushing us down." He was right. It's easy to make judgments when all you see is what's shown on the surface. But if you walk the streets, talk to people, and watch their daily routines, you'll notice something very different. You'll see mothers selling homemade food on the roadside, fathers trying to fix broken motorcycles to earn a few coins, and teenagers offering to carry bags just to make enough for their next meal. Everyone is doing something. Everyone is trying. But the world rarely sees this part of Haiti. The media prefers to show the worst images because they get attention. But they forget the human side, the stories of courage, love, and determination that don't get told. And honestly, those are the stories that matter the most. One story that really touched me came from a 7-year-old girl I met at that small community center. Her name was Amara. She was sitting alone, quietly drawing with a piece of charcoal on scrap paper. I sat beside her and asked what she was drawing. She smiled and said, "My house, but nicer." It was a picture of a small home with a garden and a big sun above it. I asked if that was where she lived. She said no, but it's what she dreams of having someday. Then she looked at me and asked a simple question. "Do you think it as bad to dream when you were poor?" That question hit me like a rock. I didn't know what to say at first. I just sat there, feeling heavy. She wasn't asking for money. She wasn't asking to be saved. She just wanted to know if her dreams were allowed to matter. That moment changed something in me. Because we often talk about poverty in numbers, how much people earn, what they eat, where they sleep, but we don't talk enough about how it affects the mind, how it quietly teaches children to expect less, to lower their hopes, to stay small. But Amara still had hope. Despite everything, she still dreamed of a nicer house, a brighter sun, and a better future. And that kind of hope in a place where so much feels uncertain is powerful. Before I left, I asked Joseph how he keeps going, seeing so much pain every day. He said, "You have to believe that even small things matter. Only one meal, one lesson, one kind word. It's not enough to fix the world, but it can keep a child dreaming, and that's something." That's the side of Haiti that never gets shown. The side where people help each other even when they're struggling, where children still dream, even when they're surrounded by broken homes, where hope doesn't come from outside but grows quietly from within. It's not a perfect place. There's crime, fear, and unfairness. But there's also heart. And when you see that heart, you start to realize how much the news leaves out. You stop looking at Haitians as poor victims and start seeing them as strong people living through hard times with more courage than most. And that brings me to a question I still ask myself. If a 7-year-old girl in a worn-out dress can hold on to her dream, what's stopping the rest of us from believing in something better too? That conversation with Amara stayed with me long after I left. I never answered her question properly, but maybe this video is my answer now. Maybe the world needs to see that behind the struggle is a strength that refuses to give up, and that dreams, even small ones, matter more than we think. So next time you see a headline about Haiti, remember this. What you see on the news is only one side. The real Haiti lives in its people, in their efforts, their kindness, their laughter, and their hope. And that part of the story deserves to be told too. Culture, music, dance, life. Despite it all, even with all the challenges that people in Haiti face every day, there's something you notice almost everywhere you go. Music. It plays from little shops, on buses, in markets, and from people's phones. It's not quiet either. It's loud, full of life, and impossible to ignore. One of the most popular styles of music in Haiti is called compa. It's upbeat, smooth, and full of rhythm. When compa plays, people smile, tap their feet, or start dancing right where they stand. It doesn't matter if they're rich or poor, tired or busy, music brings energy that nothing else can. Dancing is a big part of the culture here. It's not just something people do at parties, it's something they grow up with. It's part of family gatherings, local festivals, and even street corners. And you don't need a big event or a fancy place to dance. You just need a song and a bit of space. Sometimes it's just a group of kids showing off their moves, or a couple dancing in front of their home while food cooks nearby. It feels natural, like music is in their blood. What amazed me was how people find ways to enjoy life even when they don't have much. You might think that in a place where money is tight, people wouldn't think about fun. But that's not how it works here. Joy is something they create themselves. It doesn't need to be expensive. It just needs heart. I met a man named Toma who really showed me what that means. He lives in a small neighborhood with narrow, uneven streets and homes made from simple materials. There's no ticket, no drinks for sale, and no lights, just music and people coming together. Toma doesn't get paid for it. He just enjoys seeing people happy. When I asked him why he does it, he said, "If we don't bring joy into our own lives, who will? Music helps us forget our problems for a while." That hit me. Here's a man with so little, choosing to create happiness for others. And he's not alone. I saw teenagers turning plastic buckets into drums. I saw girls using old radios to practice dance routines. Creativity is everywhere in Haiti, especially when it comes to music and celebration. People take what they have and turn it into something meaningful. There's also a lot of humor in everyday life. People joke with each other in the markets, make fun of bad luck, and find ways to laugh even when things go wrong. I saw a man whose cartwheel broke right in the middle of traffic. Instead of getting angry, he turned it into a funny moment, joking with the crowd and singing while trying to fix it. That kind of spirit is what keeps people going. Even during hard times, music gives people a way to feel alive. It's not just for fun, it's a form of strength. It helps people deal with pain, loss, and stress. It gives them a way to express their emotions without words. I saw older women singing softly while cooking, their voices carrying feelings deeper than anything I could explain. I saw young men rapping about real life, hunger, love, hope, and frustration, turning their experiences into songs that others could relate to. In Haiti, culture is not about fancy museums or big concerts. It's lived every day. It's in the way people talk, move, cook, and sing. It's in the art painted on walls, the dances shared between friends, and the songs played through broken speakers that still manage to sound perfect. It's raw, real, and powerful. So even though the country faces many problems, Haitians don't let those problems take away their joy. They find ways to hold on to the parts of life that matter: laughter, music, dancing, and togetherness. And that's something I'll never forget. Because in places where life is easy, people often wait for something big to feel happy. But in Haiti, people create happiness out of the small things. They celebrate life, even when it's hard. And that, to me, is one of the strongest forms of resilience I've ever seen. Not just surviving, but dancing through the struggle, laughing through the pain, and keeping the music going no matter what. The American dream: stay or leave. One question I asked many people in Haiti was simple but powerful. If you had the chance, would you move to the United States? I expected most people to say yes without even thinking. After all, many believe the U.S. offers better jobs, more safety, and a chance for a better life. And yes, a lot of people I spoke to did say yes. They said things like, "If I could go today, I'd leave everything behind," or "I just want to work and send money to my family." But not everyone gave that answer. And one reply changed the way I saw things. I met a young woman named Stephanie. She was about 21 years old, working at a small local school as a volunteer teacher. She wasn't getting paid, but she showed up every day, helping younger kids learn to read and write. She lived in a modest home, shared a room with her two sisters, and had big dreams. But they weren't what I expected. When I asked her if she wanted to go to the U.S., she paused, looked at me, and said, "No, not really." I was surprised. I asked her why. She smiled and said, "I don't want to run away. I want to fix Haiti." Her answer stopped me for a moment. In a place where life is hard and many people dream of escape, Stephanie was choosing to stay. She talked about how much she loves her country, even with all its problems. She said, "If all the smart and good people leave, who will make this place better? I want to be someone who stays and helps." Her words were strong, and they came from someone who had every reason to want more. She didn't have much, no steady job, no big savings, no promise that things would get better. But she still believed in her country. That kind of belief is rare, and it's something I didn't even expect to hear from someone living in such tough conditions. It made me think. We often assume people want to leave poor countries to chase the American dream. But the truth is, not everyone wants to leave their home. Some people want to make their home better. They want to stay close to their families, their culture, their roots. For them, happiness doesn't come from going somewhere else. It comes from building something where they are. Stephanie told me about her plans. She wants to become a teacher officially, open her own school someday, and help young girls feel proud of themselves. I want them to know they matter, she said, that they don't have to wait for someone to come and save them. They can be strong right here. Her story was filled with hope, but also with pain. She had seen her friends leave, some to the US, some to the Dominican Republic. Some had done well, but others had faced tough lives abroad, working long hours in bad conditions and feeling lonely far from home. She didn't judge them, but she made her choice clear. Leaving is not wrong, she said, but staying is brave too. That really stayed with me. We often praise people who make it out of difficult places, and that's fair. It takes courage to start over in a new country, but we don't always celebrate the ones who stay, the ones who keep pushing forward in the same place, with fewer resources and less support. Stephanie reminded me that staying is also a form of strength, and sometimes it takes even more courage. So yes, many Haitians still dream of going abroad. They hope for a better life, and who can blame them? But don't assume they all want to leave. Don't assume they have given up on their country, because some, like Stephanie, are choosing to stay and build something better, right where they are. In a world that often tells people to chase dreams somewhere else, her choice to stay was bold. It was emotional. It was powerful. And it made me realize that the real dream isn't just about leaving. Sometimes it's about staying and changing things from the inside. And maybe that's what Haiti really needs. Not just outside help, but strong hearts like Stephanie's, choosing to stay, choosing to work, and choosing to believe that their country is worth the fight. The harsh reality: crime, kidnappings, and corruption. While Haiti has many beautiful things, kind people, rich culture, and strong communities, it also has some hard truths that can't be ignored. One of the biggest problems people face here is safety. Many areas, especially in the cities, are not safe. People worry every day about getting robbed, being kidnapped, or getting caught in violence that they didn't ask for. This fear isn't just for tourists or outsiders. It's something the local people live with every day. Kidnappings have become a serious issue in recent years. In some neighborhoods, people are scared to walk alone, even during the day. Children are often not allowed to go far from home, and many families keep their movements quiet so they don't attract attention. Some kidnappers ask for money, while others do it just to make a point or gain control. It has reached a point where even regular workers, teachers, small business owners, taxi drivers have been targeted. And most of them don't have money to pay a ransom. It's terrifying, and it makes life even more stressful for people who are already struggling. According to reports, the number of kidnappings has gone up a lot over the last few years. In some months, hundreds of cases are reported. Many others are never shared because people are too scared to speak out. Gang violence is also a problem. Different groups fight for control over areas, and innocent people get caught in the middle. It's not just a fight for money or power. It's also about survival. Sadly, many of the gang members are young boys who joined because they had no other option, no school, and no job. Corruption is another big issue. In many parts of the government, people don't trust the system anymore. Leaders come and go, but the problems stay the same. Promises are made, but little is delivered. Roads stay broken. Hospitals don't have enough medicine. Schools don't have enough teachers. The people are tired of hearing speeches while their lives keep getting harder. One thing that really showed me the depth of the problem was visiting a local school in a poor area. The building was falling apart. Walls cracked, no running water, and barely any school supplies. But what amazed me was that teachers were still there, teaching. Some of them hadn't been paid in months. Yet they still came every day, helping students learn to read, write, and hope for a better future. One teacher told me, "We're not here for the money. We're here because these children need someone who cares." That kind of commitment is rare, and it's inspiring. Another teacher shared that she sometimes brings food from home just to make sure her students don't go hungry during class. "They can't focus when their stomach is empty," she said. "So I try to give them something, even if it's just bread." That's not something you see every day. In a place where she herself is unpaid, she still finds a way to help others. That's what resilience looks like. Even with all the danger and dishonesty around them, people still wake up and try. They still send their kids to school. They still open their little shops. They still fix their homes, go to church, and cook meals. Life doesn't stop, even when things feel broken. That's something I saw again and again. People don't give up here. Not because it's easy, but because they have no other choice. But this doesn't mean the fear isn't real. It is. I met people who had lost loved ones to violence. I met families who had to move after threats. I saw homes with high walls and metal gates, not for beauty, but for safety. Even children knew what to do if they heard gunshots. That's a level of stress no child should have to live with. At the same time, you can't talk about Haiti and only focus on the bad. That would be unfair. Because even in the middle of danger, there's still hope. There are people trying to clean up their neighborhoods. There are youth groups promoting peace through sports and music. There are churches that give shelter and support. And there are everyday heroes, mothers, fathers, teachers, and even students who keep believing in a better tomorrow. One teenager I met, David, told me, "I've seen people die. I've heard bullets outside my house, but I still study every night because I want to leave this behind and do something good." His words reminded me that hope doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers through the actions of people who keep trying in silence. So, yes, Haiti has serious problems. Crime, corruption, danger. These things are real, and they need real solutions. But don't let those things be the only story you hear. Because behind every sad headline is a group of people still fighting to live normal lives. They're not waiting to be saved. They're doing their best with what they have. And maybe that's what makes Haiti so powerful. Not just the strength to survive, but the strength to care, to keep teaching, to keep dreaming, even when the world around them feels unstable. That's something worth paying attention to. Not just the struggle, but the spirit that refuses to break. Hope, projects, local startups, and what's changing. Even though Haiti faces many serious problems, there are also signs of hope. They may be small and slow, but they are real. Across the country, some people, especially the younger generation, are trying to build a better future. They're not waiting for help from other countries or big promises from the government. They're taking action in their own way, using what little they have to start something meaningful. One of the most inspiring things I saw was how young people are using their ideas to help their communities. In a country where jobs are hard to find, many young Haitians are becoming entrepreneurs. Some are starting small businesses like selling handmade soaps, snacks, or clothes. Others are trying new things, like setting up internet cafes or fixing phones for a small fee. These may not sound big, but for many people, they create opportunities, not just for the business owner, but for the whole neighborhood. I met a group of young men who started a small delivery service using bicycles. In areas where cars can't go or fuel is too expensive, they carry groceries, medicine, and small items between homes and shops. They told me, "We're not rich, but we know how to work. If we wait for a job, we might be waiting forever. So we made our own." Another example was a young woman who opened a sewing studio in her home. She repairs clothes and also teaches a few neighborhood girls how to sew. She said, Even if we can't go to school, we can learn something. If I teach 3 girls, maybe one of them will go on to teach 3 more. That kind of thinking, sharing skills, building each other up, is spreading slowly but surely. I also visited a school that runs on solar power. It was built by a local team that didn't want to rely on the unreliable national power supply. They raised money through local donations and small partnerships. Now, the school has lights and fans, even when the rest of the area doesn't. The kids are learning in better conditions, and the teachers are proud to have a clean, bright space. A teacher there told me, "It's a small school, but it gives us big hope." Solar energy is becoming more popular in Haiti, not just in schools, but in homes and businesses too. Since electricity is not available 24/7, people are turning to solar panels to power lights, charge phones, and even run small tools. Some young entrepreneurs are learning how to install and repair these panels, creating jobs and helping their communities at the same time. One of them said, "We have sunlight all day. Why not use it to power our future?" In Port-au-Prince, the capital city, I heard about a few tech startups run by students who learned coding online. One of them was working on an app to help farmers sell their products directly to buyers, cutting out the middlemen who often take most of the money. Another group was building a simple mobile platform to alert people about nearby health services, like vaccination days or free clinics. These are small projects, but they show that young minds in Haiti are full of ideas. They just need a chance to grow. One of the most emotional moments for me was talking to a 19-year-old boy named Renel. He didn't finish high school, but he taught himself how to repair radios and phones. With his savings, he bought some used tools and set up a tiny shop near a bus stop. He fixes electronics for people in the area, and sometimes doesn't even charge if someone truly can pay. I asked him why he does it. He said, "Because I want to be useful. Even if I'm poor, I can still help someone." That sentence made me realize how deep the spirit of community runs in Haiti. Even with so little, people try to lift each other up. These hope projects may not fix everything, but they show that change is possible, from the ground up. Of course, there are still many challenges. These local efforts often don't get enough attention, funding, or support. Most of the people running these projects face daily problems like lack of money, poor infrastructure, and unstable conditions. But they keep going. Why? Because they believe that even slow progress is better than none. One man who runs a youth center told me, "We are planting seeds. They won't grow in a day, but they will grow. And when they do, Haiti will look different." That's what's happening now. Seeds of change. They are in small workshops, solar classrooms, phone repair shops, community gardens, and local markets. They're being planted by people who believe in their country, even when it's hard. And those people are the reason Haiti still has a future. Change here doesn't come with loud announcements or big headlines. It comes in quiet acts of courage. Someone starting a business with nothing. Someone teaching a skill. Someone fixing something broken. Someone choosing to stay and fight for better days. It's easy to focus only on the problems in Haiti. But if you look closer, you'll see something else. People who still believe in tomorrow. People who, even in darkness, are finding ways to bring light, sometimes quite literally. So, while the road is long and full of obstacles, the direction is clear. Haitians aren't waiting to be saved. They're building, step by step, dream by dream. And that gives real hope, not just for today, but for the years to come. What Haiti taught me. A hard reflection. Spending time in Haiti changed me in ways I didn't expect. I thought I was going there to learn about another country, to understand how people live with so little. But what I found was something deeper. Haiti didn't just teach me about poverty. It taught me about life, strength, and the human spirit. And there are 3 big lessons I will never forget. The first lesson is that survival takes more than food and shelter. It takes mental strength. I met people who were facing challenges every day. Hunger, joblessness, illness, but they still found ways to keep going. some of them were smiling. Some were helping others, even when they themselves had nothing. That kind of strength doesn't come from comfort. It comes from deep inside. It showed me that real survival is not just about staying alive. It's about waking up every day and trying again, even when nothing changes. The second lesson is that dignity doesn't depend on wealth. In many places, people are judged by what they own: cars, clothes, houses. But in Haiti, I saw people with almost nothing still carry themselves with pride. I saw women in clean, colorful dresses walking tall through muddy streets. I saw men fixing things with old tools and broken parts, but working with focus and care. No one was showing off. They were simply doing their best every day with what they had. And that taught me that respect isn't something money gives you. It's something you give yourself through your actions. The third and most powerful lesson is that hope survives even in the hardest places. I expected to see sadness in Haiti, and yes, I did. But I also saw joy. I saw children playing, teachers teaching, music playing, and people dancing. I saw small businesses, young people with big dreams, and communities supporting each other. Hope was everywhere, quiet, strong, and real. It made me realize that even when life is full of problems, people can still choose to believe in something better. When I look back, there are things I can't unsee. I can't forget the little boy selling water just to eat dinner. I can't forget the teacher who hadn't been paid in months but still showed up. I can't forget the girl who asked if it was okay to dream when you were poor. These moments are now part of me. They remind me how lucky I am, but also how blind we can be to other people's struggles. It also made me think about how we, as outsiders, often look at countries like Haiti through the wrong lens. We focus on the damage, the crime, the problems, but we forget the people, their effort, their love, their ability to keep going. That's not fair. It's not the full story. So if you've watched this far, I want to ask you something. What will you do with what you've seen? Will you just feel sad and move on? Or will you think deeper? Will you start to question your own comfort? Will you look at your daily complaints a little differently? This is not about guilt. It's about awareness. Because once you've seen this side of life, you can't pretend it doesn't exist. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe we all need to be reminded that the world is much bigger than our own lives. That while we worry about Wi-Fi speed or food choices, someone else is wondering if they'll eat at all that day. Haiti showed me the truth in a way no book or news report ever could. It showed me the pain, yes, but it also showed me power, the kind that doesn't come from politics or money but from human will, from people choosing to rise again and again, no matter how many times they fall. And that's something I'll carry with me forever. Not just as a memory, but as a lesson, a reminder to stay grounded, to stay grateful, and most of all, to stay human. So the next time you hear about Haiti, don't just think of problems. Think of people. Strong, smart, brave people who are doing their best every single day. And maybe, just maybe, that thought will change how you see the world and your place in it. If you've made it to this point, thank you. That means you saw more than just pictures. You saw the people, you felt the stories, and maybe, just maybe, it touched something inside you. I didn't make this video to go viral. I didn't make it for clicks or likes. I made it because these voices matter. Their lives matter. And the world doesn't always listen to people who don't have power or money. But maybe we can change that, even in a small way. So here's what I'm asking you. Don't just scroll away. Leave a comment. Not for the algorithm, not for me, but for them. Write something kind, something hopeful, something that reminds the people of Haiti that they are seen, that their strength is not invisible. You don't have to be poetic. Just be honest. One sentence can mean more than you think. And if this video made you feel something, anger, sadness, respect, or even confusion, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to see life from a different point of view. Someone who has forgotten how lucky they are. someone who thinks poverty is just a number, not a face. Let this be more than a video. Let it be a moment that stays in your heart. Because Haiti doesn't just need money or aid, it needs people who care. People like you,